let's talk a little bit about the autonomous digital enterprise. It's certainly the core of the company and where it's going. And share with us what that means to you. What is the autonomous digital enterprise?
Absolutely. Our strategy as a business, both our business and technology strategy, is rooted in a strong vision of how the industry is going to evolve, how businesses in every industry vertical are going to shift in how they operate, how they organize, their operating characteristics, and most importantly, their use of technology as we move forward. So we use that view on enterprise and environment landscape and how it evolves to Enterprise 2025 to define a sort of a composite, if you would, of what a successful business would look like. And we refer to it as the autonomous digital enterprise.
Right.
That name speaks to autonomy, to being digital and using technology as a backbone of how the business is offered. An autonomous digital enterprise has certain characteristics that revolves around customer centricity, caring about the customer and making sure that they're delighted in every interaction. It focuses on agility and the ability to rapidly evolve and deal with changes in the business landscape and dynamically react to it. And it's also focused on automation and intelligence so that
Right.
you can use data and insights to drive your business and propel it forward. ADE is a state, a future desired state that will differentiate successful businesses that will be there in 5 years from now from the rest of the pack. And at BMC, we work with our customers to help them become an ADE.
That's great. And, all companies certainly today, and COVID has accelerated digital transformation. All companies want to be a great digital enterprise. Talk to us about the autonomous part. Like, down in the weeds a little bit, how are companies becoming more autonomous? I think maybe a lot of people traditionally think of autonomous like a factory and cars and being built and robots. But what does this mean in sort of the world of software and a digital enterprise becoming more autonomous? How is that happening?
Absolutely. So you are absolutely correct in that COVID-19 and the current pandemic probably accelerated maybe 3 years worth of digital evolution and digital transformation. We used to talk about how everybody's going to evolve to become a business built on software, where you're creating new systems of engagement through which you deliver services and goods to your customers. Certainly, we're living in an environment now, we're doing this already, and every business is racing to adopt and embrace virtual methods of reaching their customers, whether it's a B2B, B2C, or even in BE2E systems. Having said that, even post-COVID, when we talk about an autonomous digital enterprise, it's an enterprise that embodies, agility and focusing customer and driving business decisions based on data and insights. And it does that through use of technology with 5 key pillars. They start from customer centricity and offering a transcendent customer experience to ruthless automation, intelligent hyper automation, if you would, end-to-end, everything that can be automated, to driving business DevOps. It's like, think about DevOps for software, but applied to the business architecture, to insights-driven business, harvesting the insights and being able to drive your business based on it. And certainly, last but not least, cybersecurity throughout. Now, when we talk about autonomy, and we spoke about automation for the longest time. Right. When we talk about automation, it conjures an image, as you mentioned, of a factory, of displacing workforce and so on.
Right.
I like to think of it as more elevating people to do what they do best and freeing them from the mundane. It also speaks to having a well-defined process and a model, and then having it fully automated so you can drive speed, precision, and free people to drive more the creative evolution of the business. Right. So it all starts with like need for communication, need to stay close, need to even though, we're all working from home and we're all working remotely, in a way, we're communicating more effectively now than when we were working in the office. That's not to say that this change is permanent and that you hear a lot about, companies saying, well, we'll never get back to working from the office. Everybody will continue to work remotely forever.
Right.
Personally, I don't see this happening.
I agree with you. Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, we are social beings, and
Yes.
we draw energy from having people around us. And there is something to be said for collaboration, for team spirit and co-creation. But what I see is that we can combine the best of both worlds.
Right.
We already value now communication, change control, and the ability to engage people, to inspire them, people in the know, the ability to shift quickly and engage in new models of engagement. And we can take that strength and build on it. Think about, like, we did a sales kickoff remotely in the spring, for example, and we had the entire sales force. We usually used to go to Vegas and assemble everybody and do
Right. Yeah.
production, travel costs and expense, take everybody from where they are for 3 or 4 days. And we were able to do it over a week, and it was very effective. We got rave reviews, and the team was so engaged. Now, would we never have a get together in person again? Probably would, but we will do a hybrid of the two, capturing the best of both models.
Right. And it's funny because, like, I fly back New York, San Francisco a lot, and you're on the plane and you have your reading materials. And we've been reading forever, right, about if the work-life balance is there, people are actually more productive, right? And we always say we're going to have our work-life balance, but we never do, or we don't fully go off the grid. But now it looks like we may have the opportunity to see the modern day corporation with true work-life balance amongst most of its employees.
Absolutely, absolutely, Drew. It also taught us, the last 6 months taught us that the need for clarity, for inspiring people, for having them aware, for clarity on purpose, on vision, on strategy. They need to communicate that crisply. In BMC, for example, I've embraced a model of VSEM, or vision, strategy, execution plan, and metrics, and we're very focused on this. We spend a fair bit of time communicating, elaborating on this to make sure everybody's aligned, engaged, and not only understand the company strategy or where we're going, but more importantly, their part in it and how they're making it happen. We're in the knowledge business, and our most important asset, more than the 500 or 600 patents, more than the customer installed base, the almost 90% of global 100 companies that are our customer base, it's our people. It's their ability to engage, to innovate, and create new value for our customers. Keeping people engaged and fired up and excited about where we're going is key. That's why that first P is so important, people. It's actually the thing that matters most of all of this. It's our people, it's our partners, it's our customers, and we spend a lot of time thinking and prioritizing this. It goes everything from communication to formality, and like how to communicate a direction, a vision, a strategy. It goes both ways. It's listen as well as communicate. We recently conducted an employee pulse survey, and we've been amping up the number of skip levels of senior leadership team meetings. We used to have, like, the top 20 leaders in the company get together and have the strategy interlocks and discussion. We've expanded this now in a virtual forum to the top 100 people, leaders in the company. We're constantly listening through multiple channels to get their feedback and to engage them and make sure that they're aligned, they're excited, they're fired about the future. We shift to the second P, and this is in addition to having people that are aligned, excited about where we're going, to investing in their career and training them and doing development, whether it's technical training or leadership training for leaders. It's also about product and about technology. Started the discussion with me talking about our Enterprise 2025 vision and the ADE state, something that we are in our own journey to become an ADE in BMC, and we're helping our customers become so themselves. This is where our strategy and technology strategy is rooted. It's a deep belief in the role that technology is going to play for enterprises, large and small, in 5 years. And it reflects and translates into heavy investments with technologies like AI, machine learning, predictive analytics, RPAs. We stood up in the last 6 months a BMC Innovation Lab. It actually started 7 or 8 months, so it started a month maybe before the pandemic started. A BMC Innovation Lab, which think of it as an incubator of internal startups where anybody can submit a lean canvas with a great idea for innovation. it could be in our current business areas or new business even, and a group of people review it, and we fund it with a seed funding, and then we progress it like a startup through Series A, Series B,
That's great.
with the hope that out of 10 or 12 of these, you get 1 or 2 new products. That is the average hit ratio for a venture, for a VC outside. Given that affinity to our business and that we're already into these areas, we expect even better success rate at this in our internal innovation. Internal hackathons, driving and focusing on innovation, and innovation, by the way, is not just the sole domain of product, it's innovation of product and process and operating model, which takes me to the third P in that video. We talked about people, we talked about process, about people, we talked about product. Certainly it's in process as well.
Yes.
I know sometimes process gets a bad rap, and it's considered process, it's like something bureaucratic and heavy and so on. I think process is a sign of excellence, sign of competence. It's the ability to articulate clearly how you do something and how you do it well. And then you take it from doing it to how to optimize it, to how to speed it up. You can do it with your eyes blindfolded. And the more you can do of this, the more you free people to do things above and beyond, to be creative, to unleash the human potential to do what they do best. The good news is there is a science and a system to it. So it starts with first making sure we have the right environment that's conducive to innovation and people coming with great ideas. Start first and foremost with deep understanding and empathy for what is our customer's unmet need. That's why that Enterprise 2025, the ADE articulation is important. It shows you not only how our customers use technology today, but how they would evolve in using it 3 years from now, 5 years from now.
Right.
From there, and with deep understanding of what their unmet need is, coupled with technology disruption and what enables you to do, be it machine learning, artificial intelligence, predictive analytics that we're embedding in all of our products, it opens up the room to be creative and to create and innovate and come up with new ideas of how to evolve this. So if you put a vision to the team and an aspiration, you give them exposure to customer and first-hand appreciation of what their unmet needs are today and how it likely will evolve tomorrow. You give them a good foundation of technology through training, through exposing them. Then most importantly, give them the time, the space, and encourage them to innovate and sometimes fail, but fail fast. I think this is what brings the innovation. And out of these, a lot of great ideas come in. We ran an innovation challenge last February and March. We got over 500 submissions on ideas, and we sifted through them, and we've picked 80 or 90 of these, and we're funding a number of them, and some of them are progressing through different business units. Some of them are going through the BMC Innovation Lab. We're very excited about the potential of these and what's going to come out of it.
And was that innovation challenge only open to internal employees? Is that right?
Absolutely not. Yeah. It's absolutely
it's open.
Internal and external. We're doing innovation with some of our key partners, with some of our customers. We've been investing with some of our significant customers in telco space, in financial service space, and solutions for that segment. And what better innovation and creativity can happen than when you're doing it with people who have first-hand appreciation for the unmet need. So we've talked about a BMC Innovation Lab, the framework that encourages ideas and how you can build a top of the funnel, if you would, and ensure that you're getting the flow. But as you said, there are only finite number of hours a day, and people are juggling multiple priorities. So it speaks to becoming an ADE ourselves. It means using our technology and our products. It means investing heavily in automation in our development pipeline. It means being agile, driving DevOps methodology, and using much of our solutions internally to free people's cycle and give them the time to innovate. It also means giving them formalization of hackathons, of events like this that allows them to carve time and focus this. And then most importantly, exposing them to the customer. From a process point of view, We've added like, more formalized new product introduction. We've added the different gates that enable you to make sure or ensure that you're not going to miss a good idea and not fund it. And at the same
Right.
time that you don't continue to go down that route if it's not panning out, or what I'd say fail fast. It's basically the principle of being lean, of being agile, and applying it on the development methodology and investment strategy.
It's creating opportunity, but it's also solving their problems, right? Which can be one of them.
Absolutely. And it starts from the Enterprise 2025 and having an opinionated vision, a thesis on how the industry evolved, and then how the use of technology would enable them to unleash their full potential. So whether you're in manufacturing, you're a pharmaceutical, a media giant, or a retailers, there are common traits, some challenges they're going to face, some unmet needs they're going to be faced with, and some opportunities to break away from the pack and differentiate themselves as a business.
Right.
It goes back to customer centricity and transcendent customer experience. It's agility, it's the ability to harness insight and feed it back into the business. And from these, you can just go and deduce what challenges and what opportunities the technology would offer them. And that derives much of our investment thesis and areas we focus on. Maybe, this could be an abstract or high level. So let me take it to one use case or another and just share with you maybe a few thoughts on how
That'd be great. Yeah.
Talk about service management and whether it's IT service management or line of business, and a model that existed for the last 20 years. BMC is an industry leader there. We have an industry leading platform and solution. Today, when you have an issue or a challenge in accessing one of your systems in a company or an IT, you open a ticket and it goes through a progression of level 1, level 2 support that deal with the issue, and it becomes an incident, or maybe it's a reflection of a defect on the app or the software, and you fix the defect. In today's, as we all evolve to DevOps, to software that's changing and evolving every month, every quarter, every week, sometimes every day or every hour, the basic unit of currency of the release is disappearing. Level 1 and level 2 support and the customer support crew cannot scale fast enough toward the thriving business and expanding customer base. How do you incorporate things like understanding how the software is evolving real time and being able to do automatic remediation? How do you shift from the few smart folks that are L1 and L2 to more of a crowdsourcing model? This is all part of our next generation offering and solution for this. And it embodies, like how do you do automation? And how do you do data and insight driven business? So we understand how the software is constructed. We understand how it evolves. I can measure the consumer sentiment and the user sentiment and avert issues using predictive analytics and machine learning before they happen.
Right.
So effectively, I shift from being in the business of managing and optimizing the creation and disposition of tickets to the business of prevention of tickets, from dealing with an outage to preventing the outage. And it also goes for provision requests. When you're hiring a new employee, do I need somebody to go and open a case to provision a laptop or an email account? You can already discover that an offer has been extended and the new employee joining, and you can automate much of this without somebody requesting it in the first place.
Right.
Just a couple of small examples, and this expands to many, many use cases in an enterprise today and increasingly into more. We're constantly stopping, reflecting, and reviewing our talent strategy and mapping it to our technology strategy. That skill set and profile of the engineer we employ is evolving. This doesn't always translate to we need to hire different people. It also means retrain and invest in the current workforce you have.
Absolutely.
Start from having clarity and vision and a direction, a true North Star, if you would. That generates a ton of excitement. I find that the best enabler of hiring the right talent and attracting top talent, if you would, is to have clarity in your vision and excitement about where we're going as an industry and how we as a company are going to lead the pack and be in the.
It really is kind of about trusting people to adapt, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Most people want to and can, and you just give them the vision and the roadmap, and they'll do it.
An autonomous digital enterprise, agility and being able to deal with changes around you apply to people as well. It means
100%.
It's
Absolutely.
all about intellectual curiosity, about an undying thirst for knowledge, for learning, for evolving and doing things differently. It means always stopping and reflecting, why are we doing it this way and why can't we do it differently?
That's great. And, in terms of sort of your core C-suite team and just advice to C-suiters out there and people looking to hire other C-suiters, and, what are you looking for with your senior leaders, and what are those skills and the necessities moving forward, in terms of to truly be able to manage the type of digital enterprise that we all want to, and lead it and have it thrive? What are those key characteristics for future
It,
leaders?
it's excitement about change. It's
Yeah,
intellectual curiosity. It's a lifelong learning journey. It's the constant challenging of the status quo. And then it's also the ability to be not just excited about what the future holds, but being able to articulate a vision and excite people around it, whether
right.
it's your customers and the ability of value you can create for them, or your employee and telling them how great things would be and the role they can make by being innovative, by driving technology transformation. Drew, I've been very fortunate over the years to participate in a couple of fundamental shifts that enabled a lot of value to be created and change. I remember I used to, prior to BMC, I was actually a BMC customer and a
Mm,
BMC competitor before. Prior to BMC, I was president and the head of products at CA Technologies or
right.
Computer Associates, which was acquired by Broadcom. And prior to this, I spent a long time at Cisco Systems. I remember the late 90s and early 2000s, where through the network and evolution of networking, the shift from circuit to packet, from
Right.
voice to data, it was such an exciting time, and the third industrial revolution. We used to have John Chambers and the leadership team at Cisco used to say, our mission is to change the world, the way we live, work, and play.
Right.
And we certainly have done that. Like when you
Yes.
look at the life that my kids lead today, it's profoundly different from what it would have been 20 or 30 years ago because of what the network enables you to do.
Indeed.
And I feel very fortunate and lucky now to be in the center of the fourth industrial revolution. I think software, I think automation, intelligence, and AI is going to enable us to rewrite the playbook in how businesses operate and run, creating untold and unprecedented value that
Right.
translates into worldwide GDP growth. We
Yeah.
live in a very exciting time, and I think being in the forefront of enterprise software, how it transforms business, is going to be just equally impactful to the third industrial revolution.
Indeed. Indeed. And it's just not the network. I interviewed the CTO of AMD last week or 2 weeks ago. And it's also dependent on the chips, right? The brains and what they can do and empower. And it was great to ask him how he saw the future, right? Because so much of it comes from the guts of these devices. But I also think, and to finish the thought with you, all this fourth revolution is so exciting. But going back to my earlier point, boy, are consumers going to have the expectations are high. Like, you better solve my problem fast because I get everything fast. So you better solve my problem quickly too.
Great point, and it takes me to something that we often overlook, but it's key and fundamental at the center of that fourth industrial revolution, which is it's not just about technology and what technology enables, it's about people, their expectation. We have a lot of socioeconomic and generational shifts, and it raises a bar. It sets different
Yeah.
expectations. If you're hiring millennials today as employees or you're dealing with them as customers, they have different expectation of how frictionless, how straightforward and streamlined the interface and the process should be. And they also, I mean, don't accept barriers of yesterday
Right.
as
Right.
limitations today. And it's fantastic. It's a great time to be. It opens the room, and having the technology enabling that to happen and putting it in practice. That plays to one key pillar of our EDE, or the whole idea of transcendent customer experience.